this English reading and listening lesson, we'll review a news article on the Japanese concept of Ikigai. As we read the article together, you'll understand advanced vocabulary, learn advanced grammar, and learn natural pronunciation. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our headline: Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a happy and full life. Now notice this word here, full. It's an adjective. It describes life. And when you're learning the meaning of words, you have to understand the context. So if I say, I'm full, it means I have eaten enough or more than enough food. In this context, a full life describes one that is complete, one where you feel satisfied, one that brings you a lot of pleasure. Another alternative could be a rich life. And of course, the word rich also means different things to describe someone who has a lot of money. But in this case, a rich life is not just financial. It's many different aspects that makes your life feel complete or you feel satisfied. So you can say a full life, a rich life, even a complete life, a meaningful life are alternatives. Now let's look at this word, the Japanese secret to a happy and full life. So here it's to life, which is a noun, and then happy, full, just describe the life, what type of life. But after to, we have a noun. If you wanted to use a verb, you would need the gerund verb. And that's because the secret to, this to is not an infinitive marker. It doesn't belong with the next verb and function as the infinitive. To belongs to the secret to. And because of that, it's a preposition. So you need a gerund verb. The secret to becoming fluent is practice, repetition, and patient. So you can use a noun or a gerund verb. And notice my verb here is, this is conjugated with the secret. The secret is, that's why it's singular. Now, this is my opinion. Practice like you're doing now, repetition. Take what you learned in this lesson and repeat it, and then be patient because learning is a process. It's something that will take time. Do you think this is good advice? If you do, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. And don't worry about taking notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's learn about Ikigai, and you can come back to this diagram. This is what this image is called. It's a diagram. And specifically, if you're interested, it's a Venn diagram, which is a type of diagram with circles where the circles intersect. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that means reason for living. So that's what this word means. I don't speak Japanese, so I'll have to take this interpretation of it as truth. My Japanese students can share their interpretation of Ikigai as well, or anyone who's familiar with this concept. At the heart of Ikigai. So at the heart of something means at its core, at its essence, the most important part. To give you an easy example, at the heart of a great relationship is, what would you say is the core, the essence, the most important part? I said trust. Maybe you would agree or replace this with another word. So in this case, at the heart of Ikigai, the core, the essence, the most important part is our verb to be, the idea that a life worth living. Notice here we have a gerund verb, a life worth doing something. You can say it's worth learning English. So again, a gerund verb. It's worth learning English. You can also have a noun. It's worth the effort. It's worth the effort. A life worth living is found at the intersection. So here, the intersection is when you have circles or lines and then the point where they meet. That is the intersection. So this is the intersection of all the circles, and the word is Ikigai. This is where you find your Ikigai, which is the reason for living. So at the intersection of 4 key elements: passion, mission, profession, and vocation. So that's what you see in the diagram. And then at the intersection where they meet. Now, remember what we talked about before, that words have certain meanings or they're used in certain ways depending on the context. The meaning is the same, but the word intersection is also commonly used in traffic. So if you have roads going this way, other roads going that way, when the roads meet, that is called an intersection. So every new driver or nervous driver is scared of intersections. So someone might say, be careful, this is a busy intersection. It also goes for pedestrians, people who are walking across the street as well. More than just a career path or a personal passion, Ikigai is about finding a deep sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. I like how this sentence began with the reason before it introduced the subject. Ikigai is the subject, but here, more than just a career path or a personal passion. This gives us more information about the subject even before the subject has been introduced. This is an advanced writing and speaking technique, especially to build curiosity or to give more information in a very natural way. Here's a natural way you could use this technique when you're sharing a relatively simple idea. So the idea could be, this new technology can help us do something. Reputation, I spelled it wrong. There we go. Reputation. This new technology can help us build a reputation as an environmental leader. Anything positive. Now, before you offer this, introduce another benefit. So here they used more than. Here I use in addition. In addition to. Now, this is the gerund verb because in addition to is a preposition. In addition to doing something, in addition to saving the company money, this new technology. So even before you've introduced the subject, everybody is listening because you mentioned saving money, which everybody wants to do. So it's an advanced strategy that you can practice and then repeat and then be patient while you get comfortable using it. More than just a career path or a personal passion, Ikigai is about finding a deep sense of purpose. Here, deep is an intensifier. So a deep sense, it intensifies the sense of purpose. It makes it stronger. A deep sense of purpose. Now, to make this, what does that mean to have a deep sense of purpose? This concept might seem a little abstract, which means it's hard for you to imagine what that feels like or what that means. So they're giving you a very easy to understand example. A reason to get up in the morning, because a lot of people are like, no, the alarm, I want to go back to bed. But if you're excited to get up, which is another way of saying wake up. Wake up is when the alarm goes off and you open your eyes. Now, get up is when you actually remove your body from the bed. But in speech, we use them relatively interchangeably. Wake up in the morning, get up in the morning.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
But how do you find this elusive balance? So here, elusive. This is an adjective. It describes the balance of these four components here. How do you find that elusive balance? Elusive means that it's difficult to find. It is difficult to even understand, difficult to achieve. You may even describe the word fluent as elusive. Being fluent is an elusive concept. How do you define what that is? And then therefore, how do you achieve it? So that can describe elusive. Let's explore the four components of Ikigai. So the four components are summarized in the chart. You can review this chart when you download the free lesson PDF. I just got this from Google Images. So you can go on Google Images and find a different chart that you can download as well with more information if you're interested. So the first one is your passion. What you love. So even the word passion, that might be an elusive term, an elusive concept. What does that even mean? So they're trying to make it less elusive, more concrete. So if you want to make something less elusive, you can describe it as concrete. If something is concrete, it means it's easier to understand and therefore to achieve. So what you love, your passion. The activities that light you up. So this, of course, is metaphorically, it's not turning on a light to make the room brighter. But if I'm like this and then I get an idea and I start working with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, I could say that idea or that task lights me up. It doesn't light me up to file my taxes. It lights me up to create lessons for you. So think of the activities that light you up, bring you joy, and make you lose track of time. So if you lose track of time, it means that you start working on a task at 10 o'clock, and the next time you look at the clock, maybe it's noon. 2 hours have gone by and it went like that. You didn't even realize. You had no desire to check your phone or do something different. That would be to lose track of time. The example I gave of losing track of time sounded positive. It can also be not necessarily a negative way, but we often use this as an excuse for why we're late. So I could say to a friend I'm meeting or a colleague even, I'm sorry I'm late. I lost track of time. This doesn't mean I was having so much fun doing an activity that I didn't notice it. It could just be I wasn't paying attention to the time. I could have been doing something very boring, but I just wasn't paying attention to the time. So it depends on the context, if it's this sense of purpose and passion, or if it's just I wasn't looking at my watch. I'm sorry I'm late. I lost track of time. That's not a great excuse, but it's a common excuse. Number 2, what the world needs. Mission. The contributions you can make that help others or create a positive impact. So this is how they're describing mission. Number 3, what you can be paid for. Profession. Your skills, talents, and areas of expertise that provide financial support. So of course, provide financial support. This is just a more formal way or a less direct way of simply saying that pay you, which they have here. So maybe they just wanted to use a different word. What you can be paid for. So notice this is the passive form because you're receiving it. I can be paid for the English lessons I create. But actively, My students pay me. YouTube pays me. So that's the active form. The subject is doing the action. YouTube pays me. My students pay me. I can be paid for, and then you could list a specific skill. I can be paid for my organizational skills. I can organize people's closets and save them time in the morning. So you can be paid for a skill, or you can be paid for something specific. I can be paid for my lessons, for example. Notice this example I gave. I can be paid for my English lessons. This is the passive voice. It uses the modal can, which is not a requirement for the passive voice, but this sentence is not taking this active sentence and translating it into the passive. It's just an example of a passive, but it isn't this sentence transformed into the passive. My students pay me. What would this be in the passive? Do you have it? Let's write it out together. Well, how would it start? My students pay me. How would it start? Well, here, this becomes the subject. So I am paid. So to be conjugated with the subject. And then this is always in the third form of the verb. I am paid by my students. So this is the direct passive of this. This is just an example. This one is just an example of the passive voice. What you can be paid for. The direct active of this would be what people can pay you for. And notice they're using for because you pay for a skill. You pay for a class. You pay for a service. And that's why that preposition for. So this is the direct active form. What people can pay you for. But they want to just focus on you. And that's why they use the passive form, and they didn't want to focus on the subject doing the action. They wanted to focus on you receiving the action. And that's the only reason for using the passive over the active here. Your skills, talents, and areas of expertise that provide financial support. And finally, number 4, what you are good at. So vocation. This is the category of vocation. Your natural abilities, strengths, and areas where you can excel. So this is your vocation, which may be different from your profession. Because in your profession, I wasn't naturally good at creating lessons on YouTube. It wasn't a natural ability for me. I learned that skill. So just don't think that because you don't have a natural ability, you can't be paid for it. With any practice, repetition, and patience, you can learn the skills that people can pay you for. That was a little bit of a life lesson rather than teaching you English based on this article. So those are the 4 components. Again, you can review them on this diagram here. True Ikigai exists where all 4 elements intersect. We already learned what that means, and you can see that intersection because this is the verb form, to intersect. So as you're driving, maybe the passenger says, "Be careful, those roads intersect up ahead." Now, just to show you how you can use it in a driving context, and that's the verb, to intersect. But the diagram shows the intersection. So that's the noun form, and this is the verb form. Without one, something is missing. If you have passion and mission, but no profession, you may struggle financially. If you have profession and vocation, but no passion, you may feel empty or uninspired. So notice this is how you take the word inspired And you can feel inspired or you can be inspired. So if you're an artist, you may look at a beautiful sunset and feel inspired to paint it or take a picture or write a poem about it. You may be inspired to take a picture. Now, actually, I listened to a podcast about Ikigai and I was inspired to use this as a news review to help you learn English and also learn about this interesting topic. So I felt inspired. I was inspired. You could use both. The verb to be describes the current state, and then, of course, feel just focuses on the feelings. And then the opposite is uninspired. Uninspired. And notice the use of this modal verb may. This is a very important word choice because without it, if you have profession and vocation but no passion, you will feel empty. You need a verb there. And if you want it to sound concrete, like a fact, again, I use the word concrete, like a fact, you would use will. You will feel because we have if and then future simple. You will feel. But that sounds like it's 100% positive, will happen. But here, may, well, you may feel inspired even if you have no passion. So this is just the opportunity is there, but the opportunity is also not there. So it's important word choice. Let's continue. If you have mission and vocation, but no financial reward, you may feel undervalued or burnt out. So here, burnt out, this is an adjective because again, we have feel undervalued. If you're undervalued, well, then we have, I feel valued. Under means less. So you feel like you're receiving less than you should be receiving. So that's not a very good feeling. Undervalued. Now, burnt out is when your level of stress is continuous and strong that you just feel like you have no energy anymore. So burnt out is generally the feeling after a long duration of stress. And of course, you could feel stress if you don't have the finances you need to support yourself or your family. If you have passion and profession, but no impact, you may feel disconnected from a deeper purpose. So again, we're using deep to intensify, but here is just a comparative, a deeper purpose. And notice here we have a different prefix. So a prefix is just the 2 to 3 letters that come before the word. That means not. You may feel not connected. You may not feel connected. And then instead of saying not connected, to say the opposite, you can use a prefix if it exists. And in this case, it does, but it's dis. So there are different prefixes, and there's no reason why this is disconnected and this is uninspired. So it just takes memorization. Let's continue. Ikigai isn't a goal to reach, but a path to walk. Your Ikigai may shift over time as you grow. So shift in this context means change. So if the ground shifts, it might go like this, but you can think of that as your goal or what you think. Maybe you thought teaching English was, but then your life changes and now something else becomes your Ikigai. So may shift over time as you grow, face new challenges, or gain new insights. Be patient and trust the process. Practice, repetition, and patience. It's like they're talking about becoming fluent as well. Often, it's through exploration, mistakes, and new experiences that your Ikigai becomes clear. So if your Ikigai becomes clear, it means you understand what it is. You have a clear image, clear understanding. It's not elusive, so it's clear. Before I shared that concrete could be the opposite as well. Clear is a great one because elusive is difficult to understand. And then imagine you're trying to read something without glasses and you need glasses. You put on the glasses and it's clear. So that could be a good replacement as well for the opposite of elusive in a certain context. Let's continue. Stay curious. Explore new interests without pressure. So notice here, they have stay curious and both words are capitalized and then they have a semicolon. This tells me it functions more as a title. So you can think of it as a subtitle. And then this is the first word of the sentence. So this sentence belongs to this title or subtitle. Now, often you can put it in bold font, like we had up here in bold font to make it clear that it's more of a title or a subtitle, a header. Stay curious. So how do you stay curious? Explore new interests without pressure. So if you wanted to turn this header into a sentence, you could use the word by, because by tells you how you're doing the action. And now because it's going to be in the sentence, I'm not going to capitalize this because you only capitalize the first letter or proper nouns. Stay curious. Now what do? I just write this word. Well, I already told you need the word by. And now I just take this and I copy and paste it. Is that what I should do? Let me copy it so I don't have to write this all out. So what do I need to do? Anything, or is it good? I need to change this to exploring. I need to change this to the gerund verb because by is a preposition. Stay curious by exploring new interests without pressure. So this is how you stay curious. Not a requirement to change it. I'm just showing you how you could change it. And this is a very advanced exercise that you can try doing. See if you can take something like this and how can you change it? How can you use all the English skills that you've been learning to make a change like I just did? And notice this is in the imperative. It begins with the base verb because I'm giving this as an instruction. I'm saying this to you as an instruction. Stay curious. Stay curious. Stay open. So we can do the same thing. Stay open. If someone is open, it means that if you share an idea with me and I'm open, even if I don't initially like it or agree, I'm willing to consider it or hear more information about it. So again, we could do the same thing. Stay open by, okay. So in this case, we can't because opportunities often come from unexpected places. So we would need to make a change here. Stay open by understanding that opportunities often come from unexpected places. So that's how you could stay open, but opportunities often come from unexpected places. This isn't a verb, so I would need to add a verb. Understanding, realizing, knowing, trusting, those are other verbs that you could use. Another option that I just realized as I was writing out these words is you could say stay open and then you could provide the reason why, because this is the advice I'm giving you. Stay open. Stay open because opportunities often come from unexpected places. I really like this actually. Stay committed by pursuing your Ikigai. Oh no, may take time. So you couldn't do that. Stay committed because pursuing your Ikigai may take time. You would need because, but it is worth the journey. It is worth, remember we learned that you can use a noun or you can use a verb. It is worth pursuing the journey, you could use the word pursue. Not that you have to, because pursue is already used here, so it sounds a little repetitive, but just to show you that if you wanted to, you could use a gerund verb. It is worth pursuing the journey. It is worth following the journey. So stay committed. Pursuing your Ikigai may take time. Pursuing fluency may take time, but it is worth the journey. It is worth pursuing fluency. Wouldn't you agree with that? Isn't it amazing how we can replace a lot of these words and the message can relate to learning a language or learning any new skill, any goal that you're interested in as well. And that's the end of the article. So I'll read the article from start to finish and you can focus on my pronunciation. Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a happy and full life. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that means reason for living. At the heart of Ikigai is the idea that a life worth living is found at the intersection of four key elements: passion, mission, profession, and vocation. More than just a career path or a personal passion, Ikigai is about finding a deep sense of purpose, a reason to get up in the morning. But how do you find this elusive balance? Let's explore the four components of Ikigai. Number one, what you love, passion. The activities that light you up, bring you joy, and make you lose track of time. Number two, what the world needs, mission. The contributions you can make that help others or create a positive impact. Number three, what you can be paid for, profession. Your skills, talents, and areas of expertise that provide financial support. Number four, what you're good at, vocation. Your natural abilities, strengths, and areas where you can excel. True Ikigai exists where all four elements intersect. Without one, something is missing. If you have passion and mission, but no profession, you may struggle financially. If you have profession and vocation, but no passion, you may feel empty or uninspired. If you have mission and vocation, but no financial reward, you may feel undervalued or burnt out. If you have passion and profession, but no impact, you may feel disconnected from a deeper purpose. Ikigai isn't a goal to reach, but a path to walk. Your Ikigai may shift over time as you grow, face new challenges, or gain new insights. Be patient and trust the process. Often it's through exploration, mistakes, and new experiences that your Ikigai becomes clear. Stay curious. Explore new interests without pressure. Stay open. Opportunities often come from unexpected places. Stay committed. Pursuing your Ikigai may take time, but it's worth the journey.
Do you want to keep learning English with the news? If you do, put let's go, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.